Before we get to iSpods 4, we need to talk about our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is a turn-based RPG done right. In case you've been living under a rock and haven't heard, Raid is a mobile game that changes everything. The game is crazy popular with almost 15 million downloads in the last 6 months. Raid is an epic dark fantasy done right, a hero-collecting turn-based game with over 400 champions to collect and customize. In Raid, you can get knights, orcs, undead, and more. Raid with friends in a clan, claim glory in the PvP arena. Some other cool features are multi-battle, auto mode, set battles to run in auto mode while you do something else. Spend less time grinding and more time developing your team and finding the fun stuff. They also have weekly tournaments and events such as fighting in the arena, running special dungeons, or leveling up your hero. There's always ways to compete and win extra prizes every week. The game is growing super fast. Check out this roadmap they've published. They actually have huge plans for updates over the next 6 months. There's infinite content for you to enjoy, no time to get bored. A new faction, a tag team, arena feature, and even a new clan boss you'll be able to fight with your clanmates. You can find me under the name Dripping Popsicle, and you can even join my clan. Go to the link in the description, and you'll get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program. Start your journey today.
Oh, I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy, tummy, funny, lucky gummy bear. I'm a jelly bear, 'cause I'm a
Hey, losers and gentle losers, Dripping Popsicle here. Today, we are going to be going over all the stuff that you've missed in the past long time that I have not been uploading. So, basically, I have expanded my collection of isopods quite a bit. I got a gecko, got some beetles, and got a jumping spider. And I am going to be showing off each of these creatures individually. A little bit. Probably each of them will get their own video talking about should you own this animal, what's cool about this animal. But in this video, we're just going to be going through, I'm just going to be showing you everything really quick, just a quick tour. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So first up, we're just going to do a quick update on these 3 isopod species. These are the isopod species I was keeping before the last video. Those are Dairy Cow, Armadillidium vulgare, and Powder Orange. So we're just going to go through, show you each of them. All of them have bred and are currently breeding. By the previous video, they had not bred yet. They have all bred quite a bit now. The juveniles are growing. And I'm just going to show off each of them, what their enclosure looks like, any changes I've made to their care, husbandry, and substrate, and other stuff. First up, we have Porcellionidae pruinosis powder orange. There's none on that one. And there's not very many on that one either. These guys don't like the bark too much. They're more interested in burrowing into the leaves and the moss and stuff like that. I'm not seeing a ton in there, but I know there are a ton in there because I have been keeping up to date with them. Basically, these guys have bred. Let's give these guys just a little bit of moisture over there. So these guys have bred just a little bit. Not as much as the other 2 species, but they have bred. They've been doing really well. Definitely very fun to watch run around. They're very picky eaters, though, which is kind of annoying, especially compared to dairy cows and Armadillidium vulgare. So I'm going to have to keep trying to find some stuff that they'll eat. I've been thinking of giving them this, which is these vitamin cubes that you usually give to crickets. I think they might like these. I'm not positive, because it's very similar to Bug Burger and other things that isopods are generally huge fans of. So we're going to try that later. Not right now, because I just fed them like yesterday. So it's not going. They're not going to be fed today, but they will be fed soon. Next Friday, actually, and we'll see what their reaction is to the cricket cubes. Up next, we have Porcellio dairy cow. These are probably one of my favorite kinds of isopods. Oh, they're so pretty. And these guys have bred a lot. You can probably see the little babies right there. They have bred a lot. And these guys really like the cork bark. But a lot of the babies and some of the very large ones like to bury into the substrate and kind of hang out there too. They are definitely one of my favorite isopods. I'm going to do a video on them soon about why you should own them, because they are a really cool isopod. Alongside all the rest of the animals, we're probably going to do a video talking about the pros and cons of owning each one, because I think I've had a lot of these animals for long enough to have an opinion on them. Not some of them I've just gotten recently, but at least these 3 animals and then also springtails. I think I've had long enough to talk about the pros and cons of those animals and why you should or should not own them. Finally, we have Armadillidium vulgare. I keep this enclosure a lot drier than my other enclosures, and they really like it like that. These guys have bred like crazy. Literally flipping up this cork bark, I can count probably babies in the 20s or even 30s. You can't see them because they're very, very small and they blend in with the cork bark really well. But there's lots of them in there. I'm actually going to spray in there because it is getting somewhat a little bit drier than like even what I want the substrate to be at. They do keep this enclosure a lot drier than my other ones because Armadillidium species and Vulgare in particular do like it a little bit more drier. So I keep it dry in there. They like it. They've been breeding a lot, and this is actually one of my favorite isopod species, despite getting them for free. I really like them. I think they're really cool. I think that they have really cool patterning, and I think they're very interactive pets, especially as far as isopods go, because they'll eat a lot of the stuff you put in there with them, so you can kind of experiment with what you want to give them to eat. But that's why I like Armadillidium vulgare. Yeah. Up next, we have these 3 isopod species, which I acquired recently, and we're going to talk about my springtails, and then we'll talk about the bigger picture animals. But these guys, we have to talk about them first. These are some wild-caught Armadillidium nizatum that I caught near my house. They are very cute, very much, they have a lot more pattern variation than Vulgare, which I really like. I have some cork bark in there, some leaves, some moss. This enclosure is not up to snuff compared to the other 3. It probably needs some more moss in there, but it's very close, and these guys don't seem to be minding it too bad. They've started conglomerating underneath the cork bark, which I really like, because that means they'll be around each other more breeding will occur. This is definitely a cool isopod. They have a lot of really interesting pattern variation, including some that are like kind of like a tangerine, orangey, whitish, which I really like, and I'm hoping to isolate because it's a very popular morph actually of this species called Armadillidium nizatum peach, which is a very, very popular morph, and you can find it in the wild. So I found some. I have them in there. Not too many in there, but I'm hoping that I can isolate that eventually once they start breeding. So that'll be a breeding project, probably like a first breeding project, not actually creating a new morph, but isolating one specific type of morph. So that should be fun, and it will get my feet wet with isopod breeding, so that'll be awesome. In this enclosure, we have the uniquely beautiful Cubaris murina, which is, in my opinion, one of the coolest isopod species that I own, because it is a Cubaris species, which are generally known for being expensive and difficult to breed. And these ones I got for free from one of my friends. This isn't a particularly expensive Cubaris species. This is the cheapest Cubaris species around, probably, except maybe Borneo. But these guys are very cool because they still have the Cubaris face, and I love the little orange fins. They make me very happy. I still need to get some cork bark and put in here. That'll probably be the next thing I buy for my isopods, is a nice slab of cork bark to put in here. I'm really excited for these guys to start breeding because these are probably one of the coolest isopods that I currently own, but I just don't have a lot of them. So we're just gonna wait for babies. That's the goal. This enclosure here is for a very small isopod that I found near my house. They are kind of a mahogany rosy color. I think they're what's known as a common pygmy woodlouse, Trichoniscus bacillus. I can't really be sure. They're really hard to find because they bury into the substrate a lot. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. These guys are not very exciting. You're not missing much. Are just kind of vibing there, and we're gonna hope that they breed a lot and that this enclosure is soon overflowing with them, and then I have to move them to a Sterilite tub because that would be exciting. And so far, they have not demonstrated anything exciting. Just occasionally when I'll open it up, I'll see one on a leaf, and I'll be like, "Wow, it's not dead. Awesome." But yeah, that's Trichoniscus bacillus, the common pygmy woodlouse. Here's my springtails. Clearly they are doing quite well. Clearly they are breeding quite a bit, and clearly I need to upsize their enclosure probably eventually if I want to get more of them. I don't really need more of them. I have a lot of them. And I have them in all of my isopod enclosures right now, including that tiny one. I just have less of them in there. They're great. I love them. I love them to death. They're an awesome animal to keep. Awesome to watch breed. Awesome to just kind of live through their life with them as they as you start with only like 30, and the colony explodes like this. Definitely a really cool animal. Maybe even a cool pet if you're just looking for a single inexpensive pet. Springtails might be it. I'm going to be talking about springtails in an upcoming video. On why you should keep springtails or why you shouldn't keep springtails, and that'll be coming up later. These are my desert darkling beetles. They're not particularly exciting. We're not going to dwell on them. They're going to be downsized into a critter keeper eventually, and I'm going to get rid of a lot of them because honestly, these guys weren't as exciting as I thought they were going to be. I love them. They're cool. But I don't need 8 of them, and I don't need 8 of them in an enclosure that I could be using to house a different animal in. That would be way more exciting. So these guys are going to be downsized into a smaller enclosure that I am going to be building pretty soon. It'll probably be something like a critter keeper, something like that down there, or that right there, but much bigger, so that they can have space to wander around. But this is really big, and they don't need that much space, and I don't want them to have that much space because I want to put something else in here, not beetles, to be perfectly honest with you. This is my newest acquisition. This is a pet bold jumping spider. He is black and white, and he is sitting over there on the glass. Very pretty little guy. I put a cricket in there for him. He hasn't eaten it yet, which is kind of disappointing. But if he'll eat if he's hungry. He knows that he can eat that because it's a wiggly animal about the size of him. So he can take that down and swallow it. So we are just going to wait, see how he does in here. He's very pretty, very cool little animal. Definitely a fan of this guy. I love him a lot already, even though I haven't had him for more than probably 48 hours, to be perfectly honest with you. He is a cool little animal. Very cool. I know you generally don't want to keep spiders and critter keepers like this, but what I've done is I have just basically rotated it onto its side so that he has a place to build his nest that's not on the lid. Because the problem with critter keepers oftentimes is that they'll build their nest on the lid because that's the highest place, and then you'll disturb the nest when you open it. So he could build his nest on the lid still, and then we would have a problem. But I'm hoping he doesn't. I'm hoping he builds his nest over in this area or over there in a different corner other than one of the corners on the lid. And even if he does, I can probably just open up this right here, and I won't have to worry about disturbing his nest. It'll be a little bit of a trial and something to get used to, but I'll figure it out eventually, and he will get to exist and build his nest and live. It'll be awesome. Definitely a cool animal. I love him a lot. So in here I just have some crickets for my jumping spider and my gecko, which you'll get to see last. I just have in there some Fluker's orange cube. This stuff kind of smells like really bad, so I am hoping that maybe next time I won't get this stuff because this is kind of intoxicating. I know this is a complete diet for them, but like my head hurts from how bad that those little orange cube smells. But the crickets seem to like them, and that's what matters, because we gotta give the crickets good food before they are doomed to die. So yeah, there's not too many in there right now. Just like around, there's like 20 or 30 in there right now. Not too many. I'm not breeding them or anything. Just keeping them in this little tote until I feed them to my reptile in here. So they are a temporary animal. They're not a pet. I don't want them as a pet because crickets are gross and they smell bad. Yeah. This tub full of old-fashioned Quaker oats is going to be used to make not used to make oatmeal. It's going to be used to breed mealworms. This is going to be my mealworm farm. I'm ordering my mealworms today. They'll arrive soon. I'm ordering 1,000 of them, and 1,000 of them will go in here, and 1,000 of them will turn into beetles, and 1,000 of them will breed and make more mealworms for me. And then I won't have to have disgusting little crickets because I can feed other things. I'll probably still have crickets because you want to offer variety to your animals. But these guys will act as a staple food for my jumping spider once I get them breeding, and they will act as a treat for my gecko, which is in there too. So that'll be nice. I am kind of excited to start this project because a lot of the animals I want to keep, not animals, mainly they're plants actually, but a lot of the plants I want to keep in the future require food. Those are carnivorous plants, obviously, because only carnivorous plants require food, and mealworms make great food for carnivorous plants. So I'm kind of excited to keep these because that means soon I can get some carnivorous plants, set those up. I'm pretty excited. You should be too. This is going to be awesome. This little beauty is, of course, Smog, my crested gecko. He is the prettiest animal and the most interactive animal I own right now. He is kind of amazing, and I love him a lot. Yes, hello. He is... I don't know, really. I haven't had him for very long, about a little over a week now. He's very awesome. He has been eating, which is nice. And he's been drinking water droplets off of the stuff in his cage. But I'm going to have to probably set up a special water dish for him because he's so small. So any of the commercial ones that I buy, he could drown in. So I'm going to build that soon, and then he will have water dishes in there too. Right now he's been getting all of his water from water droplets, which is not ideal, but he can do it. He can do it if he wants to. And he's very small, so it's not very worrying that he hasn't had a actual water dish in there because he is, he's so small. So he gets most of the water he needs from just, vibing around, drinking water droplets off of stuff. He is a very cute guy. I love him a lot. And he's very jumpy most of the time. He's not feeling very jumpy today, which I'm glad, because that means I can film him better. But he's very cute, very small, very awesome.
Gummy bear.